Mahdi has this habit of like accidentally making films. So he just, like every time he goes to Einelhelwe, the camp, or to visit, when he went to Athens to visit his friends, it's always just, I'm going to hang out. But because he's been filming there since he was a child, and his father kind of passed that tradition on to him. So yeah, he always just goes and he hangs out and he's like with his family or with his friends, and these things happen, and he comes back and then he's like, oh, by the way, I've got this. And yeah, it comes about that way. So it's hard to be with him when he's shooting. We did, I think in 2012, we made a video installation, which I went over to the camp and we did 2 trips out, and it was a more of an arranged shoot. So I was there for that. But yeah, aside from that, he's he's a bit of a lone ranger, you know.
I like how you say that he, accidentally makes a film, or produces a film that way. Did you ever think, do you ever have thoughts of, well, is that going to work out? Are we, or do you just trust him and
yeah,
say, well, let's see?
I think even if you're writing a 90-page script and making a 6-week schedule and a budget and it's very tight, and you still have to trust your director at the end of the day. Like you can only kind of set them up, and then it's theirs to do. You can't intervene in every take or things like that. So I mean, there always has to be a certain level of trust. But yeah, I mean, he's an instinctive person, and I don't think trying to force his hand that might not kind of yield the best results. I think you have to work with the type of personality that you have. So.
Although I like when you say that you never know what's going to happen, because so many people do think they know they have it figured out, and sometimes it shows in the films too, especially in festivals. You see. I mean, how do you see that? Because we talk to people, and sometimes they do say, well, we look at the subject and we want to do the story, but we also know who our audience will be, so we kind of, go a certain route.
Yeah, I think we're still figuring out who our audience are. Like, the way we start is to make films for ourselves and films that interest us, and obviously for Mahdi they're very personal films because they're about people he knows. But I think like with the documentary form, it's kind of the inverse of fiction. Like with fiction, you'll write a script and do all the things I said before, and then you go and shoot it. But with documentary, I think like you go and you shoot something, and then you have however many hours of footage, and then you have to find the story in what you've shot, and you're writing basically in the edit. So in that way, it kind of suits the way that Mahdi works. So our next project is going to be fiction, unless he squeezes in something else before. But the next thing we're working on, but it's the challenge now for us is to find the method that allows him that freedom and allows the spontaneity at the same time as, we have to have a script and we have to have a budget and we have to have a reasonable idea of what we know, what we're going to get. And like you said about, more planning goes into like your audience and what to expect and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something that we're working on at the moment.
How invested are you in let's call it mainstream cinema at all?
I don't know. I guess how would you define mainstream cinema? Like
I guess that's the question too. Where do you? Let's put it another way. Do you have certain criteria where you think now this is a film or this is a documentary? Where do you draw the line? Do you have to draw a line at all?
I don't think so. I think that's the interesting thing about the documentary form and the way that it's kind of bleeding into other genres or types of film like that. Documentary has really been freed in the last 20 years, I guess, with the advent of digital technology and easily like cameras that are easy to move around and cheap and all the rest of it, that people are more and more exposed to different types of viewing experiences. So I think that bleeds into mainstream cinema and fiction as well is there's more of an appetite for real stories but fictionalized and that. So I think it's an interesting time for cinema, and I guess some of that goes into the mainstream. I mean, there's always going to be the kind of archetypal Hollywood type of things, and I wouldn't so much be interested in that. Although never say never, but I guess it does depend on the director and what they want to say with the film. But yeah, I do enjoy kind of the fringes a bit more to the to the Hollywood end of the spectrum.
Do you have any advice that you live by that you could give fellow artists? Maybe a mantra that you have when you think, wow, this is getting real hard right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's lots of times where you just think it'd be easier to pack it in and go work in a supermarket or something like that. Like, at least it pays. I don't know. I mean, I think I've learned a lot from working with Mahdi in that we're very opposite characters. So it's hard to say, like, I have these mantras, but then I see what he does and his mantra is the opposite, but it kind of works out for both of us. So I don't know if I kind of, I stand by them as life lessons, but like, I think it's very important to be patient, but there's definitely scope for impatience. I think it's like, I think it's important to be kind of quite selfless. Like, I think a lot of time you get caught up and it's kind of about you, and I try and as much as possible to not make it about me. Like, it's about the work, or if you're not a HOD, if you're like a runner or something like that, like it's about somebody else's vision, and you're there to kind of facilitate it. And it's tough. Like, it's kind of brutal to kind of say, well, you need to completely disregard your own self. But like, I'm not saying put yourself in danger or anything like that, but I mean, it's about something bigger, and it's about trying to achieve something bigger. So yeah, keep your eye on the prize, I guess.